Hello and thanks for coming to check this out. So we are going to make this Under the Sea themed title set. But the whole point of this guide is to show you a specific combination of masks which we can use to make some interesting visual effects. If you want to follow along, then you're going to need the project file, and you can get that from the download link in the description. I'm using Motion 5.4, so if you're on another version you won't be able to use the project file, but if you're comfortable in Motion you could probably follow along with your own project file and fill in the blanks as you go. Otherwise, there are two other title theme guides that I did, Midnight City and Valentine's, and you don't need any project file to follow along with them. Right, so let's jump over into that project file and get started. So here we are in the project file. If you downloaded the background image from the download link, then you can put that in this group. And now the motion shape, the submarine shape that you downloaded, and if you haven't, go and grab that. That should be available in your library if you've put it in there, but if you've downloaded it and you're not sure what to do with it, then you want to go into your Finder, into Library, Application Support, Motion, Library, Shapes, and drag the shape in here. And then if Motion is open, close Motion and restart it. So then when you go into your library, come into your shapes, the shape should be waiting for you, ready to use. So Submarine, here it is. So I'm going to grab that and I'm going to select this lead group and click apply to add that shape in there, and I'll just turn it off for now. You can see everything is here in this main group, and there is an underwater distortion filter added to this main group, and that gives us the wavy effect for everything. Then we have this group titled lead, and I just put my motion shape in there. The main titles are in here. So if we come into the inspector, you'll see I'm using the Gotham font. So there is a link in the description to go and get a free copy of the Gotham font. If you don't use Gotham font, or you haven't added the font, then you'll probably see that this area is blank and it says there's missing media, or maybe you had a notification that the font's not available. If you don't want to grab the font, then any thick outlined font is pretty good to use, so whatever you choose is good. Then we have this background emitters group, and sitting in there is the bubble machine, which is just one of the emitters provided in the motion library under the nature category. There it is. And the fish, I made that just with the fish shape, which is a part of the motion shapes library. Okay, so let's get busy with that masking that I was talking about. So we want to come into the lead group, and I'll grab that motion shape and turn it on. I'll come into the inspector, come into the shape, and I'll give it some color. I'll choose yellow, and I'm going to rename it as the lead shape. And I'll just turn off the emitters for now. So I'm going to right click on this lead shape and choose add image mask, and I'm going to use the main titles as the source, and then I'll set that blend mode to subtract. I'll just turn off the underwater filter for the time being as well. So now you see the image mask is masking out the titles, but they're revealed just within the submarine with the cutout effect there. So what we want now is we want the titles to appear wherever the submarine isn't. So as the submarine moves, it will mask out the titles inside of it, but also the titles will be revealed back onto the canvas. So to do that, we'll add another group, and I'll call that group follow. And then I'll come into the lead group and grab that lead shape. I'll come into properties first and reduce the scale by 50%. And then I'm going to Command D to duplicate the shape. I'll rename this copy as the follow shape, and I'll delete the image mask, and I'll drag it into our follow group. Now I will come into the lead group again and grab our main titles, and I'll Command D to duplicate them. I'll drag them into the follow group as well and turn them on. So now we get our titles back, but we want to mask them out in here again. So grab that follow group, right click, add an image mask, and use the follow shape as the source, and then set the mask blend mode to subtract. So now we have one mask in this lead group that will mask out the titles, but this mask here will make sure that they are revealed. So now we want to make this follow shape follow the lead shape, and we'll do that by coming into properties. So select that follow shape, come into properties, come to the position menu here, open the menu and add parameter behavior link, and then drag the lead shape in as the source. The other option we could use would be the align to behavior, but I find that, well, just with my system, with my Mac, the link behavior seems to let the animation run a bit more smoothly. It doesn't affect the frame rate so much. Okay, so we've linked the position of the follow shape to the lead shape. So now if I come into select the lead shape and come into the inspector, and as we move the lead shape along the titles, that masking effect is maintained. So as it moves along, the submarine shape will mask out the titles, but then they'll be revealed again in front and behind. Alright, so let's animate this submarine to move from left to right. I'll bring the playhead back to the start, and I'll drag with the X position until the submarine is off the canvas, and I'll set a keyframe there. Now I'll bring the playhead forward to 10 seconds, and I'll bring the submarine the other way. Okay, now I want to set that curve to Bezier. So my curve is hiding down here, and I'm just going to hit this tool here, fit visible curves to window, and then straighten up the timeline. No, still not. So if I try clicking out and back in, right, I get some funny behavior with the keyframe editor. If you're getting that as well, just group select them and do the same thing that I did before. Alright, what I'm going to do is set the curve interpolation to linear, which I just prefer for this title effect. Alright, so now let's turn on that emitter group and we can add the final element. So we want to mask these emitters so that they are only revealed within the submarine, and we're going to do that by masking the emitter group. So select the background emitter group, right click and choose add image mask, and we'll get the effect by using the same source that the submarine is masked with. So grab that under the sea title from the lead group and drag it in as the source for this group's mask. And there we go. So our emitters are only visible through the submarine. So early on in the animation, nothing's happening through the submarine, so let's do something about that. Grab the School of Fish emitter and Command D to duplicate, and then in the inspector bring the position forward so that something interesting happened earlier on in the animation. And you could add as many emitters and bubble emitters and anything you like. Well, that's it. That is the Under the Sea title set completed. I hope that there was something useful in here for you for your future motion and Final Cut projects, and thanks for watching.